Okay, today we're going to use the Liquify tool to create a manga, or manga girl, however you say it. It's in the Liquify practice folder. You're going to open up the rainbow and the manga girl. So now we have both of the images we're going to use, but we're going to start with a blank Photoshop file. So you're going to get a file, new, and we could just call this manga girl your name. And we're going to change pixels to inches. Oops. And I always like to do 8.5 by 11 for this class, just so that we could print it out on a piece of paper if we wanted to. And the resolution should always be at least 300 pixels per inch to have a good quality picture. And then you'll hit OK. So now we have our blank document. Let's go ahead and fill this with some type of background, maybe a blue gradient. So we'll change our foreground and our foreground color and our background color. I'll click there and make it a little bit lighter. Okay, and then you can use your gradient tool, which will be underneath your paint bucket. Choose the type of gradient that you want. I think I'll do it the opposite. Alright, after you have a nice background, we're going to start dragging our pictures over. So let's go to the rainbow. We'll click on our move tool and drag it over to our document. And then of course you're going to need to stretch it out. And in this case, it doesn't necessarily, normally we make sure that we have our link checked, but in this case we don't have to because it's a rainbow, it's not a person's face. So I'm just going to we're just using it kind of to decorate. So I'm going to pull it out a little bit. Let's see how it looks. It may be too pixelated. It's kind of okay. I'm going to center mine a little bit better. Okay, after you have the rainbow on there, and it's just for decoration, everything's kind of warped anyway, so it's okay. We're going to go to our girl. We'll use our select tool. Move her over to our document. And then we're going to need to stretch her out a bit. Now, on this one, you make sure that you have the link clicked before you are finished with her. I see people clicking the link all the time, and then they'll do this. Like, it just unclicked. If you do the top or the bottom, it will unclick on you. So you have to see right now it's 696% wide and 714% high. You have to click the link before you hit the check mark every time. Alright, and now we need to delete the background, but we like to use layer masks, so let's go ahead and try to select the background. I'm going to use a quick selection tool. Make sure it's on plus. Okay, I actually changed my mind. I'm going to select her a different way. So Control D and then go to select color range. This will get it more accurate. So you're going to select the color range, which is this background here. Once you click, yours may look much different, but you're going to change the fuzziness until, definitely not all the way up, but until it gets most of the edges. And then we can fix the rest. So it's selecting anything that's white and anything that's dark it's not. But it's selecting her eyes and some pieces here, but that's okay. Hit OK. So you can tell that it has selected all this. Go ahead and select the inverse. Alright, and now we're going to add a mask down here. Okay, so remember, anything that's white shows up, anything that's black does not. So let's hold down Alt on your keyboard and click on the layer mask right here on layer 2. That shows you just the layer mask without the picture. So all we have to do is change the paintbrush to white, and you can pick a size. Make sure that it's not the feathered one though. And I'm just going to paint white because we definitely want her whole face to show up, right? So, and I'm going to go ahead and get a lot of her hair. And that's probably good. Now I'm going to hold down Alt again and click on the layer mask so it shows me her again. And then I can go through, as long as I'm on the layer mask, and I can still color white on areas of her that I want to show up, that I don't want the background to bleed through. Alright, we're going to try to turn her into this little manga girl. So I've got a picture of a manga girl up here. They have these really kind of pointy chins and small mouths and nose and big eyes and foreheads. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to use the Liquify tool. So make sure you're on layer 2, and we're going to go up to Filter and Liquify. We're going to leave it on the Forward Warp tool. You're going to play around with the brush size. We'll do her chin first because we're going to use, that's way too big. You definitely don't want to use that much. We're going to use a different tool for her eyes and nose and mouth. Alright, that might be too big too. You may have to type it in here. Sometimes it's hard. I'm going to try 400. Okay, we just want to kind of make her face a little thinner here. On this side and on this side. You have to be careful though. Her hair messes up right there. If you mess up, you can just start over. I would say this is probably not the best. So I may want to restore all and start over. But for the sake of time, I'm not going to. You might want to. Okay, and then I'm going to change to the fisheye tool. That's the bloat tool. Sorry. Now I'm going to bloat her eyes, but I need to make my brush size a good bit smaller. I'm going to try 250. And then you can just click on the middle. Again, you have to be careful with her hair. You don't want to do it too much at one time. Okay, now we need to make her nose smaller, so we can use the pucker tool. And here I'm going to make my brush size a little bit bigger. I'm just going to type in 400. And you can click right on the middle and it makes it smaller. I might need to go bigger for her lips. I'm going to try 500. So that puckers her lips in, but I need to make them smaller on the sides. So I'm going to do the Forward Warp tool again. I'm going to change my brush size to 200. And just push in on the sides until she has one of those really tiny little mouths. This would probably work better if you wanted to get a different picture with somebody without hair in her face, because that really messes things up. So when you're done, actually we need to make her forehead bigger, I guess. So let's see, maybe the bloat tool again, but this time it's going to need to be big. Maybe 800? Probably even bigger. I don't know if that's going to work. We might need to use the Forward Warp tool. They have those big foreheads. Okay, when you're satisfied, hit OK. And you should have your little manga girl. Actually, I needed to erase some of this right here. Oh, booger. Control C. Maybe I need to make it black because I don't want it to show up. So there we go. Alright, when you get done, you're going to save it. Make sure your name's on it. And you've already saved it as Manga Girl.